Now, one of the other things you might want to do that's kind of fun with a canvas, as we talked about, one of the functions that you get with the canvas, or actually two of the functions for the X and Y location, are how to track the user's mouse on the canvas. And that can be fun, for example, if you want to have games that are controlled by moving the mouse around, you can track where the XY locations are for the mouse as the user's moving it around on the canvas, and then, for example, do something like move a shape around. So I want to show you an example of some code that actually tracks where the mouse location is. So what I'm going to do with you now is I'm going to share my screen that's going to show you this mouse tracking code. So here's our mouse tracking code. Here's the basic idea. What we have is, once again, we're going to get our canvas from the graphics library and also import time, because we're going to have a slight delay between when we track the mouse, just so we can track it at some reasonable period of time. We're going to have our canvas size, which is a constant at 400, and our pause time is going to be 1/50th of a second. So before I wrote it as just like a decimal number, like 0.01, if I wanted a hundredth of a second. If you want to just have it as a fraction, because you want to have some fraction of a second and define that as a fraction, that's fine too. So here my pause time is 1/50th of a second. So what I'm going to do in my setup is I'm just going to create my canvas that's going to be canvas size by canvas size. That's 400 by 400. And then when the program runs, all this program is going to do, it's not actually going to draw anything on the canvas. It's just going to track the mouse. So I'm going to ask the canvas for the X location of the mouse. I'm going to call that mouse X. I'm going to ask the canvas for the Y location of the mouse. So I'll call that mouse Y. I will pause for a fraction of a second, and then I will write out the mouse locations, X and Y location, on the screen. That means it'll actually show up in the terminal down here. So if I run this program, you can see the mouse isn't yet on the canvas. When I move the mouse on the canvas, as I'm moving the mouse around, down here in the terminal, you can see the location of the mouse. So if I try to get the mouse to the center of the screen, that's going to be around location 199, 199. Let's see if I can get there. Oh, went a little too far in the X direction. Need to go a little higher in Y. And there we go. I'm pointing to the exact center of the screen with my mouse at location 199, 199, because as you know, the pixels start counting from 0. So 0 up to 199. 199 is actually the 200th pixel, which is the center point of a 400 by 400 screen. But you can see as I move around, I'm getting very nice response time in terms of being able to track the mouse. And so you could imagine I could do something kind of neat, like I could have a shape that was moving around with my mouse. And so as I move the mouse, that shape would actually move around with my mouse. Something similar to that is something we might have you do, say, on one of your exercises this week. So I'm not just going to write the code here because I don't want to give it away. But now that you know how to actually track the mouse and you know how to draw things on a screen and move them around with animation, doesn't take a lot of work to now be able to animate something on the canvas where the user can actually move it around with the mouse. So with that said, you know what we've done today? What we've done is we've actually achieved our learning goals. So we have figured out how to write animated programs, and actually for the added bonus, we also figured out how to do things like tracking the mouse on the canvas. So I hope you have a ton of fun with animation. It's just a lot of fun to be able to do things where you can draw stuff on the screen and move it around, and even be able to now have interactive things like games, because you can also get input from the user, say through the mouse. Or turns out there's some stuff you can do with the keyboard as well, which you'll find out in the documentation. So hope you enjoy it. Take care. We'll see you next time. Have fun coding.